I went to GDC this year for the first time. That stands for Game Developer Conference. It happens every year in San Francisco, and it's where game developers and publishers come together to talk about the latest and greatest tech and tools being used in the game industry, and also on the side make deals and whatnot. In fact, one of my goals here was to actually pitch my game C-Beams to various publishers. But I also took it as an opportunity to check out the show floor and just get a general vibe check for what goes on at GDC. And if I had to sum up the overall vibe in one word, that word would be AI. Not subtle AI, not, hey, there was a panel or two about AI. I mean, AI was everywhere. It was in the rendering talks, the dev pipeline tools, NPC tech, anti-cheat, audio tools, world generation, full stack game development, anything you can think of, it was somehow integrated. There is even a little infographic showing that there's over 100 AI sessions at GDC this year, which is over double of what it was last year. It was basically impossible to walk around GDC without being pitched some version of what if this part of your game development had AI attached to it. And admittedly, I'm kind of sad that I never went to GDC in the past because I bet it looked quite a bit different. But in 2026, it really does feel like the year of AI everything, everywhere, all at once. Now on the other side of the GDC floor, there's the cool indie dev showcase area with some goofy games and silly experimental takes on gaming. There was an interactive dumpster diving game, which was definitely not on my GDC bingo card, but it was certainly there. How about a toothbrushing simulator? VR is still alive and well, and now they have haptic feedback gloves. Now, quite literally, while I was already at GDC, I got offered a sponsorship by Sonic Vista, who invited me to look at AI gaming tech that was less focused on generative tools and instead focused on things like AI anti-cheat and improving competitive fairness. I decided to take him up on the offer since I was there anyway, so I'll be showcasing what the future of AI anti-cheat could look like. And this is actually a subject I've covered before and have been following for quite a while, since cheating, especially in FPS games, is basically the bane of all competitive gameplay. If AI can solve that problem, I am absolutely, game for it. Now, the specific tech they wanted me to look at is Tencent Games' ACE, or Anti-Cheat Expert. It uses machine learning to detect suspicious behavior, hardware-assisted cheats, or new forms of automation in competitive games. It's described as a full scenario, real-time anti-cheat system, which suggests multiple layers instead of just one single gotcha detector. ACE is used by games like Arena Breakout Infinite, Honor of Kings, Peacekeeper Elite, and Delta Force. The defensive layers are listed as behavioral detection, real-time response, and protection against AI-assisted or hardware-assisted cheating threats. This implies that the cheating software can look far beyond just the code manipulation that may be going on with the computer. The AI system can track suspicious play patterns, automation, device abuse, and more subtle forms of unfair play that traditional anti-cheat software has had a really hard time dealing with. This is especially important because it means it could stop a lot of weird or outside-the-box style cheat designs before they even get off the ground if the AI is looking for patterns instead of scanning for specific types of files or nefarious code. Now, I'm not going to lie, some of the other AI tech on the floor did also catch my attention, specifically the AI companion tech demo that they're showing off, which was running in Arena Breakout Infinite. And in my opinion, it's one of the more genuinely interesting demos on the floor. Essentially, they're letting AI take over control of NPC teammates in the game that you can then communicate with in real time with your voice, and they will respond realistically like people. This technology is already being used, tested, and has feedback in games like PUBG or Peacekeeper Elite. The companions can understand natural language through voice comms, recognize what's happening in your specific scenario, and respond like an actual squad mate instead of just some dumb command wheel bot. So rather than hitting follow or attack, you can just tell them what you want them to do. And the commands were not simple. You could have them search around for an object that you needed them to find. If you saw a specific thing like a plant pot, you could say, hey, go over to the plant pot, take cover there, or guard that corner. or open the door and flashbang him. They showed off a little preview of this tech like a year ago, and what I saw on the floor was way more advanced. It's clear the AI were capable of following much more than just basic commands, which suggests the system is doing a lot more than just speech-to-text conversion. It's combining voice recognition, intent parsing, scene awareness, and action execution inside the game world. I'd be willing to bet that you also don't have to give it such specific directions. You could probably say stuff like "cover me" and it would figure out what you want it to do and do that in a reasonable way. Now, this isn't the first time we've seen teases or various use cases for AI powered by server-side LLMs before, but this is by far the most impressive demo I've seen. And one of the holy grails for game design would be truly lifelike NPCs, and we could be looking at some of the first good use cases of that actual tech materializing. And I was talking to a guy on the game floor that was telling me the actual response times are pretty darn good, which of course is going to be important in a multiplayer game, especially a reactionary based multiplayer game. This is something that I absolutely want to try out for myself. Sure, it's cool in Arena Breakout Infinite, but it's also being rolled out in PUBG Mobile or Peacekeeper Elite, which is what it's referred to by Tencent Games. But also, the sky is the limit. I could imagine this kind of AI companion tech in virtually any game. It's really quite exciting. Imagine any fantasy RPG where the AI can just respond realistically, do things that are outside of their normal programming, like come help you on an adventure, become your friend, become part of your party, become your enemy, whatever it is. It just seems like this could open up so much more dynamic feeling worlds, reactive worlds from the AI perspective. Now, the rest of the showcase around GDC was pretty wild. Microsoft used GDC to share the first official details on Project Helix, which they describe as the next generation of the Xbox platform. And if you haven't heard about it yet, it's going to allow you to play Xbox titles and PC titles on a single platform, which, I mean, let's be honest, seems like the absolute best path forward for Microsoft. The Google DeepMind showcase also had a pretty big crowd around it with Genie 3, which can generate navigable 3D worlds just from giving a text prompt, which is kind of wild. And I have no doubt that the next Roblox or Fortnite type game is going to be just a prompt-based game where you can just tell it what kind of game mode you want it to play, and then you and your friends are playing that game. NVIDIA was there, of course, pushing hard with their RTX neural rendering, their path tracing tech, their AI-assisted workflows like AI code debugging, which was actually running on their little mini DGX desktop AI computers, which I thought was kind of cool for people who don't want to be spending all these tokens in the cloud. You can actually load much larger LLMs on these desktop computers that NVIDIA is selling that gives you access to a lot of AI computational power without having to pay the token fees, which I know is going to be super attractive to certain developers. And in fact, that was one of NVIDIA's demos, was showing tutorial-based AI working locally on your machine using the NVIDIA GPU. I have a feeling this is going to become a strong demand down the road, since the AIs are going to be so useful for agents inside of a video game. They won't want to pay the server fees for it. They're going to want it to run on local machines. So a lot of the hardware hopefully will push in that direction, so games don't get more expensive to host. Now, overall, the GDC floor was both overwhelming and a little weird at times. There's so much AI tech being showcased that it's hard to imagine a future in which it's not fully integrated to every production pipeline and game service. It's easy to see some of the benefits, like if anti-cheat could actually solve a lot of cheating problems, or cloud-based or even local-based LLMs could create incredible NPC interactions. I think those things would be solid upgrades to the gaming sphere. But on the artistic side of things, with tools doing a lot of the image gen and video gen, it's harder to get behind that tech because it just pushes towards more mass-produced derivative content. So yeah, I went to GDC to pitch my game and check out the latest tech on the floor, and I walked away feeling like the game industry is moving forward with this tech at a breakneck pace, some of it is still very much in its infancy, while other tech seems to be fully ready for public consumption. I'd be curious to hear your take on AI in the future of gaming. Does some of it look cool? Do you hate it all? Do you love it all? Let me know in the comments. And once again, thanks to Sonic Vista for sponsoring this video. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.